This TikTok ass gonna stress me out today.
I'm ready for it was just TikTok because Derek was lagging too.
I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Let's see. Let's see if it keeps doing it, because it probably will. Knowing TikTok. Should be just frustrated. Dapper, welcome in. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in, Deborah. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hey, Dapper. Of course, this shit's acting stupid. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good evening. How are you? I'm waiting for a few people to come in regards to that. I know we're supposed to do our Discord call at 8, so just wanted to go live real quick. Welcome in, Venom. Hey, Lala. I'm all right. A little bit sleepy. How are you? I'm doing good. What's going on, Sander? Welcome in. Let me share the live out to the WhatsApp. 1 second. Froggy. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. So the topic today that we're having is the topic of fear. The topic of fear, and it's related to your growth, to where the fire for your growth. Yes, I rang. Can you share out the live to your people? It's related to the fire that, yeah, I know. I know, I know, Lala. Stick around. I promise you, you'll have a better understanding towards the end of the live or towards the middle of the live. So in regards to your fear, right? I'm relating it to not your mental health, not the mental health aspect of it, but more
It's
towards
so funny when you go out and share it, but it does that.
what?
When you go out or share it, that's when it starts lagging.
Okay. All right. Well, I won't do that no more. So to understand, first of all, before we even dive into it, right? When you guys hear the word fear, what's your definition of the word fear? Before I even dive into my spill and the stuff that I wrote down. When you guys hear the word fear, what definition comes to your mind for you when you hear the word fear? So give me a little bit of something in the chat. And make sure you guys, if you have any questions, make sure you hold your questions until 8 p.m. because we're doing the Discord call at 8 p.m. So share out the live, get some folks in here. Let's tap the screen. Let's get engaged in the chat. So when you hear the word fear, what definition comes to mind? When you hear the word fear, not being able to do something. Okay. Dapper. I see Sander in there, Frog Nation. Derek Coach Derek, I seen you pop in. What's going on, bro? False evidence appearing will. I mean, that's the acronym, right? In regards to that. Yeah. That's the acronym that's been used forever in regards to fear. So yeah. That pretty much some trapped. Okay. So usually, usually, fear, it's usually a natural response, right, that we use, not realizing that it is, but it is a natural response. Thank you for coming in. Um, it's usually rooted in our desire to protect ourselves from fear, rejection, or the unknown. Um, for example, right? For simple example, like for people that are not good at public speaking, like people that are public speaking, when they have to do it, things start getting a little scary. A little scary. They start being fearful of what can happen or what's gonna happen. What's in the unknown of them public speaking? Are they gonna fail at it? Or are they gonna freeze when they're talking? They're not. Are they not gonna know their talking point? Are they gonna be judged because they're not really being able to communicate what they're supposed to communicate? You know what I'm saying? A lot of things comes into that when we talk about public speaking, right? So in regards to that, the one thing that I've noticed is when people use the word fear, it's always towards something negative, right? It's always geared toward negativity. It's always geared to something of chaos, something of scare, something of fear of that you're fearful of. We're gonna change that perspective today. We're gonna change that perspective today. You know what I'm saying? And the topic, right, is fear, but the subtitle says the barrier to your growth fire, right? So when I say the grow fire, when I mean the grow fire, I mean where does that determination come from? Where does your determination for everything that you want to do come from? Where do you forge that fire from, right? That's when I say the grow fire, when I mean that. Where do you forge that fire from to want to be successful, to want to work on your healing journey, to, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have a hobby and you want to really excel at your hobby, what are you using as that determination to really fuel that fire within you? You know what I'm saying? So, if y'all can, please share out the live. Ramona, I see you in the building. Welcome in. So, when we talk about that fire from within, it can mean your passion, your ambition, the drive to pursue your dreams. It can be any of that. Unpleasant emotions caused by a belief that someone or something will harm them. In regards to that, absolutely, right? But in regards to the conversation at hand, it's not going to be relatable, right? Because in regards to your determination to grow, to be the better version of you, right? We're gonna eliminate that part. But that is true. That is true. Absolutely. You definitely right about that. Miss Harris is in the building, y'all. Miss Harris is in the building. Welcome and welcome, and I see you, Cookie. Thank you y'all for tapping the screen. Thank y'all for tapping the screen. Keep sharing out the live. Keep tapping the screen. So when you think about that fire, right? So think about a goal. Think about a goal, or think about something that you want to pursue in life. Whether it's a career, whether it's starting your business, whether it's you know, just trying to break a cycle of something that you're really fearful of. Think about one thing that you're really fearful of that you want to break, and ask yourself where that determination comes from to want to break that. What's good, Shane? Welcome in. You my range run different. No, absolutely, absolutely. So ask yourself that question. Like really, really reflect on that, right? What does that look like? Thank you. Appreciate it. Ooh, I like it. This is dope. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you, sis. So ask yourself, where does that come from? Like, what does that look like? What exactly is it that you are trying to pursue in? And think about the fear of the things that you're trying to pursue, and why does that fear always equate to something negative the moment that you think about it? Why can't it be something positive when you think about that fear, right? Why can't you think of it being something to help you kind of push through versus to kind of scare you away, right? Usually the fear that you're hearing is from outside interferences, from people that tell you when you tell people too much. Like, for example, if you're excited about doing something, right? And then you tell somebody about it, because they don't align with it or they don't agree with it, they're going to tell you everything about it that just doesn't work, or they quote unquote already attempted it, so it doesn't work. Not everything that they do will work for you. So keep that in mind when you provide people about things that you're really trying to focus on and strive on, just because you told them about it and they quote unquote care about you, doesn't mean that they're gonna give you the best advice on it. They might give you the negative aspect of it versus the positive, and it makes you, it veers you off the path of actually wanting to do it, and it creates that fear and that doubt because of what they said versus you being determined yourself to really push through that and actually try to see it through because of the things that they told you, because of the things that they said. It makes you start to question the things that you're determined to do and the things that you're passionate about, and then it creates that fear, right? And believe it or not, that fear can also stem from family and friends. Like family, especially family. Because a lot of us, when we try to pursue things in our life, if it's not quote unquote the ideal, right? Being a doctor, playing sports, doing something that's quote unquote the ideal, right? Go to school, get a college degree, become a doctor, become a lawyer, become a nurse, these things outside of the norm, and you want to pursue it, they won't agree with it, right? They won't agree with it because it's outside of the norm. But if it's something that you're motivated and you're dedicated in doing, and you try to pursue that before you even pursue it, you tell them about it, thinking that they're gonna be excited about it, and then next thing you know, they start knocking it, they start questioning it, putting bad juju on it, right? Be mindful of giving people too much when you're trying to pursue the things that you're trying to pursue. It's okay to move in silence and gather it, get it together, so that way when you do come out, you're coming out with confidence, because you don't want your confidence to be lowered because of the things that other people have said, other people have put on it, because you wanted to get quote unquote advice from that person. You wanted them to hear it so bad. You wanted them to hear it, but then when they finally heard it, and then you start to question, do I really want to do this? After you hear them talk about it, after you hear them give you the advice on why you shouldn't do it, then you start to question yourself. Then you start to think to yourself, why? Like, you're supposed to have my back. Why are you trying to ruin this for me already? And I haven't even started it yet. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not saying to hold it in, but be very cautious on who you advise that information to and who you give that to, right? Because you want to be able to move with confidence and move with that determination that you can actually get it done. Move with that fire. You know what I'm saying? I know me and Miss Harris had a conversation earlier today on her live about sitting in that fire, right? And Keith had said something that was very interesting, right? So shout out to Keith. He said that sometimes you have to sit in that fire and let it burn so you can feel the marks, right? So you could feel the marks, so you can grow and learn from those marks, right? And that was dope because I was like, I love it. So think about it in that aspect. But for me, in regards to how I was thinking about it, thank y'all for the gifts. I was thinking about it in the aspect of when you sit in that fire, are you going to be your own fire extinguisher, or are you going to allow somebody else to do that for you? So, in regards to your process of learning how to be the better version of you, or if you're starting a business and you're trying to get the foundation of your business started, who's going to start that for you? Are you going to allow other people's decision, thought process, and their opinions to start that process for you? Or are you going to move with that determination and confidence in yourself that you have what you need to start that foundation? Hey, Mina, welcome in. Khaled, welcome in. You got to ask yourself these questions, because sometimes there's certain things that you have to do on your own. Not everybody can help you with it, and not everybody's opinions and not everybody's voices are there to help. Keep that in mind. Um, is certain things that fear can suppress if you allow it, right? Hey, if you allow your fear to suppress things, this is what they can suppress: the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of stepping out of your comfort zone, and we're gonna talk about that right there. The fear of stepping your comfort zone. I personally dealt with something like that for a very long time. So think about this, right? Um, and I want everybody to kind of self reflect because when we do the Discord call, I want to really dive into it and hear you guys' thoughts on it, right? So reflect on a moment, right? I'll give you guys mine in just a moment, but reflect on a moment where stepping out of your comfort zone had you pretty much paralyzed. Like the fear paralyzed you and you couldn't figure out how to get yourself out of that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Think about it that way. Think about that while we're kind of doing this, right? Some lack the drive you have, so the drive makes them very uncomfortable. So, but that's the point, right? We're supposed to be working on that together, right? That's the one thing that we are going to work on together. We got to figure out where that drive comes from. Everybody has it. Nobody lacks it. It's suppressed. It's suppressed. Half of the time, people they put their confidence in things that they don't need to put their confidence in, so they're not focused on what they should be focused on. Think about that. A lot of people do have that drive. A lot of people do have that determination within themselves. But the only problem is it's locked. So we have to find a way to unlock that. We have to find where that determination is coming from. So that way we can unlock that. And that way you can start pushing forward. Because most everybody has it. We just have to find out where it is. That's the one thing that I can definitely contest because I had it in me. I always had it in me. That's the one thing I never lacked was confidence. No matter my situation, no matter what it was, I never lacked it. I did lack discipline, but I never lacked the confidence. And my discipline is where I fell short. Is because I had everything. I had everything. My brain was where it was supposed to be, but my discipline caused me to fall short in regards to that. So everybody has the determination and the confidence. We just have to find a way to unlock it for everybody, right? We have to know where your fire forges from. Where are you forging your fire from? So that way you can push to get that new job, to start your business, right? To help your kids elevate some way or somehow, to help yourself elevate some way and somehow. Where is that coming from, right? You have to ask yourself those questions. Because without knowing that, it's kind of hard to really push, right? It's kind of hard to force yourself to really elevate if you don't know where that's coming from. Another thing that we need to also work on is recognizing fear as a sign of growth. And this is why I'm doing this live, right? I'm not here hey Aquarius, I'm not here to have you guys be fearful of the unknown or be fearful of what's to come or be fearful of the judgment. Judgment's always going to be there. But think about this. Their judgment doesn't matter. Their opinion of you don't matter. It's you. When you do that mirror talk, right? When you have that conversation with yourself and you self reflect and realize, damn, there's things I gotta work on. There's things I gotta do. I can't put being the better version of me on somebody else. I have to do that. I have to do it. Let me find the coach. Let me find the therapist. Let me find the educator, the mentor to help me get better. Let me find a coach that can help me to self heal. Let me find a coach that can help me for self awareness. Let me find a coach to help me get back healthy and figure out this nutrition stuff. Let me find a coach to help me, solidify my discipline and my confidence. Let me find a coach to to help me transition into the life that I want to be in. You know what I'm saying? Let me find that. Use and yes, be fearful because the fear makes you aware. The fear doesn't have to make you scared. The fear can make you aware of what you need to do. And that's the most important part is the fact that you're aware. You can be fearful, you can be fear. It's okay to have the fear, but be aware that it's there and the reason why the fear is there. You know what I'm saying? Be aware of the fear and use the fear as motivation. Don't use it as something to push you back. Don't use it as something to keep you stagnant. Kind of push toward, let it push you forward. Let it push you into the unknown. Because you never know what's behind that door. Like, you know what I'm saying? We look at that unknown and we think something negative immediately. That's not what it is. Sometimes it's actually really positive behind that door, but you just never know because you don't think that it's there, or you're not conditioned to knowing that the unknown can actually be positive. Hey, Black Armory, welcome in. We don't realize that. A lot of times we're told that the fear, the unknown is scary and it's negative and it's probably chaos. But if you yourself are looking for the positivity, for the growth, for the good energy, the frequency, the good vibrations that come with all of that, then that's what's going to follow suit. If you think about it as a negative thing, guess what? You're speaking that negativity into the world, and that's what's going to come next is the negativity. You have to change the way that you talk to yourself. You can't talk to yourself in a negative way and expect positivity. You can't. It's not going to happen. You have to talk to yourself positively. You have to want positive things. You have to want good things in your life in order to see good things in your life. You speak negativity towards your life, guess what? Negativity is going to keep happening. So if you say you want to start a business, then look into that. Be positive about it. Ask the right questions. What can I do to start my business? What do I need to start my business? What fundings do I need to start my business? What's the foundation of what my business is going to look like? You got to ask yourself all these questions, right? He asked Coach Derek when he did his coaching. I'm pretty sure when he started his coaching career, I'm pretty sure he had questions for himself on what that looked like. Hey, Sexy Rogue, welcome in. When I'm starting my journey, I have to ask myself, what does that look like? What do I look like as a coach down the line? You know what I'm saying? What kind of things can I put out in the world to help people be the better versions of themselves? To help them really solidify their discipline and their confidence with who they are as a person versus just walking around life thinking that everything is cool, everything's okay, right? Because we say it all the time. You can have all the tools and all the learning and education that you want and be provided with everything that you need to be the better version of you. But if you don't have the discipline, guess what? All of that's for nothing. Because you're not going to follow suit. You're going to have it and you're not going to do nothing with it. So if you don't have the discipline and confidence to actually do that and push through it and actually apply it, guess what? You did all that work for nothing. Did all that work for nothing. So you have to have the discipline to actually stand firm on the things that you've learned about yourself and grow. And when you stand firm on those disciplines, I guarantee you the confidence will follow right after. Once you start applying the discipline. Once you learn the discipline in full effect and apply it, guess what? You're gonna be able to see the confidence. It comes hand in hand. What up, bro? It comes hand in hand. It comes hand in hand. You cannot ignore the fact that they both come hand in hand. You can't ignore it because you'll see it yourself. Because when you start having that mirror talk after you have everything right, after you've gone to all the coaches you need to go to, and you've learned all the aspects and all the disciplines that they come with, and then you come back around and you come to me, I can tell if you need to go back to one of those coaches or not. I'll be able to tell. I'll be able to tell. I'll let you know. Listen, go back to Coach Derek because there's something that's missing, and you didn't do all the work that you're supposed to do. Go back to Coach Tanya. You didn't focus on the nutrition and the discipline of being healthy the way that you're supposed to do. Go back to Riz. Your awareness is a little short. You gotta go back and readjust that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You still need a little bit of healing. Go back to Derek. Your transition's not where it's supposed to be. Go back to Hormiga. Figure it out before you come back over here because I want to make sure that we have everything that we need. Don't do the educational C word. Okay, I'll think about it. King Marvelous in the building. We gon' we gonna put you guys in the right position, right? When you're here with us, at Monumental, right? When you're in the Monumental community, we are here to help. We are here for you to grow. We are here for you to elevate. But you need to want it more than we do. We can't want it more than you want it, right? We can't. It's just not a thing. It doesn't make any sense. If we want you to grow more than you want to grow, do you really want it? Do you really want to grow? Do you really want to elevate? Or are you gonna allow that fear, that negative fear, to keep you stagnant, to keep you from growing, to keep you from asking questions, keep from getting the education? Ask yourself that question. How much do you want to grow? How much do you want to elevate? Where does your fire forge from? Where does your fire forge from? Ask yourself that question. When you think about the fire that's forging within you, where does that come from? Ask yourself that question. It's a serious question to ask. Where does that come from? Where does that determination come from? Where does that come from? Is it come from something negative? Come something positive? Is it something that you dealt with in your life that you no longer want to deal with, so you're trying to grow from it? Whether it's a business, whether it's a job that you no longer want to have, is it something from your childhood trauma? Is it something from really with like deep within? Like where does it come from? Like you have to ask yourself these questions. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something important. And back to the stepping out your comfort zone, right? Um One of the things I faced that I actually broke the fear of is public speaking. I sucked at it. Real time. Sucked at it. But I'm telling you, sucked at it. I'm talking about you could throw tomatoes at me and I would have took it because I was that bad. I was that bad. Tomatoes. 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 I was that bad. I was. So you know what I did? I took a leadership course. I took a leadership course. And I took a public speaking course in the community because it was free. They were paying for it. I found tomatoes. Tomatoes. I did what was necessary to get myself where I needed to be. I took those courses. I took a leadership course and I took a public speaking course. It was free. They were giving it in the community, and I took advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that I needed it because I sucked at speaking to people. But I always gave great advice. I always gave great advice. I always gave people a aha moment to think about. You know what I'm saying? So I decided that if I'm gonna do this, I need what's necessary to make it happen. And the one thing I needed is to learn how to speak in front of people. Mind you, I worked in the community my whole life. And I spoke with people, but I never spoke in front of a crowd. I hated it. It was disgusting. It was something that made me sick to my stomach. But guess what? I found a way to push through it. It's not a joke. It's a scary thing. It's easy. It's easy as it's easy, right? It's easy to say that you can do it until you actually have to. Oh yeah, I can speak in front of people. I'm good at that until you have to. Until you have to. And I'm not talking about no 10, 15 people. I'm talking about 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I'm talking about that. I did that and I had to. And the first time I did it, my heart, that's all I heard coming out my chest. That's all I heard. But that first time you do it, once you do it, listen, it's a great feeling, right? After all the scare, after the heart racing, after all that, feels good, right? But I had to recognize where the fear was coming from. And I did. I recognized it. It was the public speaking. It's speaking in front of people. I just couldn't do it. And, shout out to my mentor, Jose DeLumba. He he put me in front of a crowd full of people and he was like, "Oh, you speaking today?" He's like, "It's happening." I was like, "No." I was like, "Yes, it's happening." I was like, "Motherfucker, no." I said, he's like, "Yeah, it's happening today." So I did it. I did it, and it went well. I wish I still had the recording because I would have posted it, but I did really good. I knew my stuff. I knew my stuff. It's just a matter of actually speaking in public. You know what I'm saying? So now that I know that I can do it, I'm not afraid of it anymore. I might need a refresher. I might need a refresher, but I can do it. And you can too. Everybody can. It's all a matter of if you want to or not. Do you want to do it? That's ask yourself that question. Do you want to do it? Do you want to grow? Do you want to be able to face your fears and the things that you're fearful of? I took a speech class in college and I cried every time. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, Coach Chris, if you were there in real time, you might have heard my heart from the crowd. You might have heard my heart from the crowd if you were there in real time. I promise you, it was bad. It was bad. It was. That's all I heard. I didn't even hear the crowd. That's all I heard was. That's it. That's all I heard. That's all I heard. I'm trying to tell you, it's a fearful. I think that's the one thing all coaches should take. They should take a public speaking course and leadership. If you're a coach, gotta have both of those. I feel like it's so important to do those because listen, COVID messed that up for me. So I got need a refresher for sure. But that's coming soon. Um so that's pretty much recognizing the signs as well. So recognizing the signs of your fear, where it comes from, where it stems from, what it actually looks like in real time. I love you too. And I'm a flying squirrel. So appreciate you. Recognizing the signs of fear. Yeah, so you gotta figure it out. And most of the time, right, outside of the negativity, outside of the negative fear, the positive fear, when you actually deal with the positive fear, it's because you're excited. It's not really because you're fearful. It's you're excited, right? You're doing something new. You're trying something new, right? You're trying all of this, right? See, look at that, big stages. I'm gonna get there. I promise you, we gonna get there. But most of the time, like if it's in the positive aspect of fear, it's because you're excited. Like you're excited. So you don't know what it you like you're just like, you know what I'm saying? A little overwhelmed. You start thinking a little bit like, what does this look like? What does that look like? Damn, if I do this, this is you start having that feeling. It feels good, right? It feels good until you try to get advice for somebody that's negative. Until you try to get advice for somebody that's negative. Think about that. Think about that. Think about how many times you've been excited about something, like super excited about something, and then you tell somebody about it, and they'd be like, "Well, I mean, I guess it could work, but what if this happens? What if this happens?" And then you start questioning yourself, and then you start questioning how excited you was. Then you start to question things. Damn, like I was really excited about all this. Then I said it to the one person that I should have never said it to. And they fucked that up all for me, right? But accountability, right? We do this over here. We knew not to tell that person, but we did it anyway. We knew not to tell that person. Come on now, we knew not to tell that person. That same person that's always negative about everything, always writing negative stuff on social media, but yet we run and tell that person out of all people because they love us, right? They support us. They'll never make me feel like my stuff ain't worth it. You sure about that? If they could do that to anybody else, they could definitely do it to you. Sometimes that's a thing too, Lala. I was gonna get into that, but I'm glad that you brought that up. One of the things that we do is we psych ourselves out when we're excited about something, right? But Lala, that's not your mindset. That you are conditioned to think that way. Think about it that way. You are conditioned to think that way. Someone in your life, whether it was your mother, your father, brother, sister, friend, teacher, educator, coach, that you probably played sports in high school or something, like somebody put that in your head and they thought they were doing right by telling you that. In retrospect, they were doing the opposite. They were giving you the opposite. Yep, you're welcome, guys. Yep, they were giving you the opposite. That's not what that is. They were giving you the opposite. It was really negative, but it sounded positive. So make sure you guys have your questions ready for 8 o'clock. I'll be in there at 8 o'clock. We got about 19 minutes left. Um, I think one of those things that we also gotta be mindful of, like I said, is how we speak to ourselves. How are you speaking to yourself? Are you speaking to yourself in a negative way? Are you doubting yourself on a daily basis? Because the more that you do it, it's a habit, right? It becomes a habit. It should be, yeah, yeah. We're gonna be doing it on Discord for the Q&A. You gotta ask yourself this question: why am I talking to myself in a negative way? Why? Why am I doing that? Why am I doubting something that hasn't even started yet? Haven't told anybody what my idea is, but yet I'm already putting negativity onto it. You haven't started your business yet, but yet you're putting negativity towards your business. I haven't started this new job yet, but yet you're putting negativity towards your business. You're towards your job. Haven't moved into my new apartment yet, but yet I'm already thinking about what could happen wrong. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, coach. Absolutely. You gotta ask yourself these questions, man. Like it's we do it a lot. We do it a lot, right? Thank you for the heart me. We do it a lot. We do it a lot. We question ourselves. We have these unrealistic whys, right? That is the classic anxiety, but where does that come from? You got to figure out where that comes from, right? It stems from somewhere, and that's where that work comes from doing the work on yourself. That's where that comes from. Because if you think the healing journey doesn't correlate with your career, your personal growth, your ability to want adventure, right? Your thought process to want adventure, your thought process to want healthy relationships, whether it's a romantic friendship, family ship, workship, right? All of that comes from self. You have to figure you out first to want other things in life. So that way it makes sense. Because the moment that you no longer work on yourself and stop working on yourself or think that you don't have to, you're going to keep falling into the same pools of negativity and nonsense. And that fear, that negative fear is always going to be there. If you keep falling into the same aspects, if you keep falling into the same cycles, you have to change your environment, the way you talk to yourself, the way you look at yourself. That mirror talk is real, y'all. Y'all need to do that. I encourage everybody that's here watching from the FYP, all of y'all. The mirror talk, huge. Gotta have the mirror talk. Make sure you guys do that with yourself. Ask yourself these questions. Write down, make sure you're journaling things that you want to accomplish outside of your healing process, right? Because we already talk about journaling things for your healing process. That's mainly what we talk about, right? But think about the things that you want to accomplish outside of your healing process. My May, welcome in. I do. I have a I have been not much as much as I needed to though. I mean, listen, you're doing it though, so just keep focusing on that. Keep doing that. If that makes sense. What did you write, Dapper? Honestly, I talk to myself both ways, but a little bit more positive though. No, it does make sense. Makes sense. Miss October, welcome in. So it does definitely make sense. I think a lot of the times, as well, like I said, you gotta be mindful of outside interferences. You gotta be mindful of outside interferences. Not everybody's qualified to give you advice. Not everybody's qualified to give you advice. Even the people that have the qualifications sometimes are not qualified to give you the advice. Oh, Teddy, I stopped my bachelor's like in December, and I feel the timing couldn't be better. I'm proud of you. Keep doing that. Keep going. Keep going. If you feel like it's the right time, then it's the right time. If you prayed on it, you know what I'm saying, and you focused on really putting the positive towards it, and it's there, it's yours. It's yours. Taylor, welcome in. It's yours. It's yours. It's definitely yours. You know what I'm saying? Um, you got this. And we're all in support. You know what I'm saying? We're all in support. You got this. That part is the point. Even listen, even qualified people, yes, some qualified people give you shitty ass advice. Sorry, let's say it out loud. Just because you're qualified doesn't mean you have the experience. Just saying. Most people that are qualified don't lead with their experience. They lead with their education and their quote unquote degrees and certificates and certifications and all that. Right? Cool. I'm glad you got that and you put the work in. But where's the experience that come behind that? There's a reason why the coaches that we're aligned with move with their experience because your experience is your best teacher. It is. And think about it in the aspect of your fear. How many times are you going to sit within your fear? How many times are you going to sit within your fear? How many times are you going to allow your fear to be completely negative every single time? And half the time, the negativity is coming from an outside source. It's not even coming from within you. You don't create that fear for yourself. It comes from an outside source most of the time. And you've heard it so much that you've been conditioned to it. Your fear can become a habit based off the things that you continuously hear. It could become a habit. So the moment that you think about wanting to do something, because it's a habit, that's the first thing that you're going to run to is that fear. So you live within that fear for everything, no matter what it is. You could try to be, like I said, you could try to find a new job because you're tired of your job. And you'd be like, all right, I'm going to apply for this job. Get the call for the interview. You got the interview. But before the interview, you're starting to get scared. Where does that fear come from? Because you've been conditioned to be fearful of things instead of embracing it. Instead of embracing it, you're fearful of it. You got to embrace these things, right? Embrace it as a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? When I tell people that it's yours because you want it. You're determined to have it. Positive wanted it, so she determined to have it. So that's why she's going to school for it. You know what I'm saying? Lala wants to heal. She's determined, so she's doing it. Dapper wants to be better, so she's determined. She's doing it. Levert wants to be better, so she's determined. She's doing it. Is the fear there? Yes. But we're going to change that fear into growth. We're not going to make it a negative thing. We're going to be uncomfortable and we're going to embrace it. But we're not going to let the negativity that's been put on fear to stop us from being better. That's the issue. People are trying to stop others from being better because they themselves don't know how to be better. They're trying to attach their fear onto you. When you're trying to start a business that they already started and they couldn't do it, guess what? The reason why they're trying to make you fearful of it because they themselves couldn't do it. So now they're gonna give you every negative thing that went wrong when they did it. You know what I say to that? You're not me. I appreciate the information, but you're not me. You're not me. Because you couldn't do what I'm trying to do now doesn't mean that mine's gonna fail. I probably thought about it more and actually put in the work so that way it can actually work. You probably didn't put in the work, so it failed. You're not me. You know how many people do designs and do graphic art? They're not me. They don't do what I do. So I don't think of what they failed to do as it's gonna happen to me. It's not gonna happen to me because I know that I put more effort into what I do. Not everybody can teach discipline and confidence. They might have fell short in trying to coach that. Cool. Come over here so we can learn something together. So that way we can get you back to doing what you love to do. Your experience is not my experience. And that's the one thing. I actually used that line last week. My experience dictates my perception. First time in months. Listen, people will use their experience to make you fearful of the things that they couldn't accomplish. People use their experiences of their own fear of things that they couldn't accomplish to stop you from doing what they've tried. That's it. That's what it is. They use their fear to stop you from doing something that they've tried. They probably did try to start a business that relates to graphics or that's related to, I don't know, having a cleaning business, but they didn't know how to market correctly. They didn't know how to they didn't have the right equipment. They didn't have the right cleaning stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they'll tell you, no, it didn't work for me. You know, I tried this, I tried that, this, that, and the third, but it just didn't work for me. I just want you to be mindful of that. But your experience is not my experience. Your education is not my education. My talents and your talents are not the same. You know what I'm saying? It had been months since I said that line, and I say I just didn't remind. I love that, Levert. I'm not perfect. I do make mistakes, but I never fail. If I fail, it's because I couldn't. It couldn't be done. That's it. It's the only time you fail is if you actually choose to give up. If you gave up, then you failed. Yes, 100%. There's nowhere around that. If you chose to give up something that you love to do, or you lost the passion to do it, and instead of trying to find another way to fuel your fire, you just ignored the fact that you even had the talent, guess what? Yeah, you failed. 100%. There's no way around that. There's no way around that. Got it. You got just because your fire is kind of dim right now doesn't mean you can't add gasoline to that bitch. Like, excuse my language, but add gasoline to that shit and fuel that fire. Add gasoline to it and fuel that fire if you have to. Feel that heat. Sit within that fire. Forge that flame. Be your whew, be your fire extinguisher to things that don't serve you no purpose. If it's a fire that you don't want to be in, Be your own fire extinguisher if you can't find somebody to support you. Just saying. Just saying. So one of the things that I before we get out of here, because I only have 5 minutes, um, the one thing I want you guys to do is in regards to a little bit of strategy, right? To kind of break that fear and start making it positive. If you have big goals, long term goals, big goals, right? Break those big goals into small pieces, small goals, right? That will equate to the bigger goal. Break it down into small pieces, right? Work on those small pieces a little bit at a time, and then start putting the pieces together. And then you see that large goal become what you wanted it to be, right? Practice mindfulness for the people that are here. Make sure you get with Mika. Meditation is huge. Meditation is huge for facing your fear and breaking that cycle of negativity, making sure that your energy is aligned where it's supposed to be. Get with Tamika. Go on her website, right, and register for your free consultation in regards to that. That's huge. Your meditation's huge. Seeking support, get within the community. And if you're here and you're not a part of the monumental community, make sure you guys either message me or message Sweet Tea, because we are gonna have our Q&A at 8 o'clock. So if you are a part of the community, be sure to come in there with your questions, because I'm only there as long as you guys have questions. If you guys have questions, we ain't gonna be there long. I'm just saying. Um, you know what I'm saying? One of the things I want you guys to do, and this is a challenge for all of yous, okay? All of yous. I want you guys to write down a major reflection what on something that you are fearful of that is holding you back, right? That's holding you back from committing to it. I need either comments, questions, or a video on what your goals and fears are. I need either it written out on what your goals and fears are. I want you to reflect on it, on what your goals and fears are, and why is the fear preventing you from committing to it? Is it something that's internal that's causing you to be fearful of committing to your goals? Or is it something external that you were taught or that was spoken to you by other words from other individuals? Think about that. Think about that. But what I'm going to do is this will be one of the workshops that I'm going to create for 2025. Okay? I'll make it into a workshop so that way you guys have access to it. I'm going to be posting this not on the monumental um, YouTube, but my YouTube, King of Self Love. So I will put that YouTube link in the Discord for you guys to go watch the video if you missed the beginning of the live. But it is 7:59. I gotta get out of here. I'll see you guys in the Discord. In a world full of negativity, make sure y'all choose love and love on purpose. Keep life simple. Love is the glue. Respect is the flavor. You dig, you dig, you dig. Make sure y'all live within your value energy. And I pity the fool who doesn't mind the mental. Peace.